Alright, time for a regular video. Turn the heater off so I don't hear that in the background. I'm going to make another Frio out of rock from the bucket. Oh, Texas rock. Alright, let's see. I need a darker piece. The darker piece is not better. But I don't know if I have any larger, darker pieces. Let's see. I'll have to use the low grade stuff. Yeah, if I want a large Frio, which I do want a larger one. Yeah, this stuff is going to be kind of rough. Anyways, let's just get some of the rough pieces. Yeah, it's the same thing. This one's a little bit longer. All right. I'm going to make some stuff out of the smaller pieces, but not on this video. Okay. Or not on future videos either. I'll just do those off camera. I'll take the most difficult one to work on and try that. This is an instructional or tutorial video, so I'll be explaining everything. I'll try to. Now I got to get used to the horizontal format. See, on the vertical format, I got to be way up here. On the horizontal, I got to be down here. I watch where the workpiece is in my peripheral vision. All right. This doesn't look too bad. And also the horizontal view is closer. Yeah, I gotta zoom out a little bit. I don't know. Yeah, I'm starting to get used to the vertical format, and the horizontal format is a little different. So what am I doing? I'm just trimming off the delicate areas first. This is chert from Texas. It's chert because it forms in limestone. Flint forms in chalk. But flint doesn't necessarily knap better than chert. There are high grade cherts, but in general, flint is better. But not always. So just be aware that if you buy flint, there are some cherts that are probably just as good or better than the flint, and the cherts don't cost as much. Okay? In general. There's always exceptions to everything when it comes to stones. Stone types. There are expensive cherts out there, like root beer chert, for instance, but it's often called root beer flint. Yeah, this is not too bad actually. It does have crystal pockets and stuff. Let me put my glasses on. The crystal pockets mess you up later. I don't have to worry too much right now. See these little pockets? When it gets thin, they mess you up. This is not bad, actually. It developed a patina. You can see the difference between the new surface and the old surface. It had already developed a patina only after a few months. Yeah, it looks dull, but it's actually waxy on the inside. And yeah, it is a chert. It looks like a flint, but it is a chert. It naps like a flint or high-grade raw material. Yes, you can heat treat this, but it does not need it. Heat treating does help to make the concrete better. I call that concrete. Well, everybody calls that nasty stuff that doesn't nap very well. We call it concrete. Heat treating can make those concrete areas more nappable. Yeah. So I'm slowly just picking off what's not supposed to be there. This is a solid copper head on this bopper. The weight on this one is, let's see, 2 ounces. Yeah. I'm using a smaller one. I usually don't use a bopper this small, but I just felt like it today. Yeah. I gotta get used to using all the sizes. What's the difference? A heavier one will do more work for you, but it's slower. And what I mean by more work is that when you hit with a heavier one, there's a lot of energy that gets transferred to the workpiece. So it takes off big flakes without a lot of speed. You gotta really speed it up with the smaller boppers to remove large flakes. But with this kind of setup, where I've got a long, narrow piece, I don't want to hit it with a big bopper. Slowness, a lot of times, will mean it pulls a lot and it shocks the workpiece a lot because it's slower. With a faster, snappier hit, it shocks the piece less because you're using the mass of the workpiece against itself instead of depending on support. With a larger bopper, you have to depend more on support, like put it on your leg or something with a larger bopper to support it, because it will move the workpiece a lot. But with a smaller, snappier, faster hit, with a smaller bopper that requires a faster, snappier hit, you can use the mass of the workpiece against itself. You don't need to support it on anything. And that's why I like to do a freehand. Yeah. The support is just an added complication that I don't like dealing with. Just another variable that I don't have to worry about if I don't use a big heavy bopper. But my accuracy is not that good with boppers, and it's even less good with small boppers. So there's a trade-off there. I like using the smaller boppers, but I'm not as accurate. I like the way it feels to nap with the smaller one. I just don't like the results all that much because of the inaccuracy. So I'll probably switch to indirect percussion very soon here. So I've got to think about symmetry. Start thinking about the symmetry now. I got rid of the square edges and all the really big lumps. If it's going to do this kind of stuff, I have to be careful about how I'm hitting. Too much. This is caused by too much inward force. But too much inward force doesn't always do this. It depends on the material. Sometimes you can get away with a lot of inward force. But on this stuff, it's not consistent. I was hitting with a lot of inward force up here, but it just step fractures. Over here, a lot of inward force scoops it. So the material will act differently. See how it scooped it? On this side, it flaked, but it's step fractured. You know, it'll break like that. It won't scoop it. And sometimes there'll be ripples in there. Sometimes there won't be. I think it depends on the quality of the edge, quality of the knapping tool as well. If it starts getting really full of rock dust or something, the hit itself, the way it hits the edge, causes ripples or no ripples. If it's solid contact, you probably won't get many ripples, but if it's not solid, I'm pretty sure if it's not solid or something's going on and it's not making really good contact, it'll cause ripples. Okay. Some people want ripples in there, which means you'll have to use a method that's not that great, because the ripples are not supposed to be in there. So you have to use a tool that's, I guess, not making very good contact with the edge, and then you get ripples. All right. Some of the artifacts have ripples in the flaking, and people like that look, but I think it's because the tool isn't that great. All right, the knapping tool. So I switched over to indirect percussion. This is 3/8 inch copper rod. And my explanations will be different over time as I learn different things. So I may have said something different about rippling flakes, for instance, in some of my older videos than I just said right now. I'm learning more about the rippling of the flakes because some of the Cody points, the artifacts, have flakes with lots of ripples in them, like on some of the Eaton points that are very famous. And people want to know how to do that effect. And I think it's because the quality of the tools is not all that great. It could also be the type of material. But this type is really good. This stuff is really good here on this side, but sometimes it ripples, sometimes it doesn't. So what's the difference? What made the difference? Everything else is the same. So it had to be something that had to do with the edge or the tool itself. That's the difference is in the contact area, the way they contact each other, the stone and the tool. Everything else is the same. My skill is the same. Mallet's the same. Angles are the same. But I bet you it's something got to do with the quality of the tooltip or the quality of the edge or both that causes these ripples. Okay. See, there's none here. I'm working on the same area of the stone. Sometimes it ripples and sometimes it doesn't. The difference is in the edge and the tooltip. Yeah. Those things are hard to control. The quality of the tooltip and the edge. It can be controlled, right? The quality of this, if you keep dressing it, the reason why it's difficult is because you just have to keep maintaining it, and it interrupts your flow, your mental flow, or the mental focus. You can't just focus only on the knapping. You got to worry about the quality of the edge and quality of the tooltip, in addition to trying to pay attention to everything else. It just adds another layer of complexity. So it's difficult to control when it adds another layer of complexity. I tend to not worry about it. And sometimes it gets me into trouble. Yeah. The technique, how am I doing this and what are the angles and stuff? It's always the same basic angles and always the same basic technique. There's just very subtle differences. I can't tell you that there's a big difference that is noticeable. You just have to adjust your technique very slightly to see if it actually matters. And if it's not working, just modify your technique a little bit more. And that goes for the angles. Some people cannot nap. See, right now I'm napping straight like this. Just knocking off small flakes. Some people can't nap that way. They have to knock off small flakes like this. Some people can't nap that way either with small flakes. They got to knock off small flakes like this. They always want inward force. It depends on what your style is. Some people get impatient, or they don't have the desire to I don't know, desire to hold it in a certain position. I don't know. People's brains work differently. I modify the position a lot. Some people don't like doing that. Some people like preparing this edge just right and always keeping the same angle when they hit. Always keeping just a slight inward force all the time, no matter what. As an example, I've watched other people nap. Some people are all over the place like I am. Some people try to prepare the edge very, very well and do a lot better job than I do at this stage. It's all a matter of your personal comfort level. If your personal comfort level is not giving you results, then you have to become uncomfortable. There's no way around it. You've got to nap uncomfortably until you get used to it. Some people never get used to it. They just don't like napping certain things, or they get tired of this type of napping and they go to a different type. Like they'll go to bigger pieces, or they'll go to smaller pieces and not do these mid-range sizes. As an example, I don't know. I got a lot of stuff to ship out. I haven't been shipping out too much stuff on the side lately because I had to spend the money elsewhere. I need to get a bunch of stuff out before Christmas. Yep. So if you're expecting something from me, I'll be sending a lot of stuff out this week. Hopefully I'll get most of it sent out before the big Christmas rush. Yeah. I tend to wait till the last minute. I did spend money elsewhere, but still, I have a bad habit of waiting till the last minute anyway. Try not to wait too much longer. All right, so it's still not symmetrical, but I'm going to make it symmetrical here in a little bit. I'm still trying to decide what to do about this tip. I guess I'm just going to live with that mess. Yeah.